All right, what's up, y'all? AWB, I'm back at it. On this stream, I just want to pretty much talk about um, the accident I had in Thailand and how it basically almost took me out. I was almost gone. Yeah, I was in a coma for over a month. Um, it was just terrible. And when I started regaining consciousness, like when I not right when I woke up from the coma, but as time was getting closer to me leaving the hospital, I was realizing like how bad the situation actually was. Like I didn't know that I had brain bleeding or skull bleeding. I'm not gonna say brain bleeding because I don't know if my brain was bleeding, but I know I had skull uh, bleeding. Um, yeah, and like the whole recovery process was what I'm still going through the recovery process, but it was when I didn't, you know, when you're in a situation like that, you don't realize how how bad it actually was. Um, like when I got out the hospital, I barely could walk. Um, yeah, so I had a a four-legged walker thing that I was using, and I was barely moving, even with that. Um, so so a couple weeks later, I ended up getting I got some medication, or uh, they would give me I would get this injection that that um I had to use, and it's just a needle, and it goes like on on my left and right side, um, kind of level with my belly button, but not by my belly button. Uh, what's up? Who's all in here? Y'all say what's up. Um, but yeah, this was during the time that you know I really I really seen how impactful God has been in my life. Um, God has helped me in so many terrible situations. Um, I've been through a lot of tragic situations. Matter of fact, my the reason I was in me too. I'm I appreciate that, man. I'm glad I'm here too. Um, but the major reason I was in Thailand was that's where I went like a few months after my my mom passed away. Uh, she passed away from cancer. So I just I wanted to get away, and I wanted to just go and see the world. I always thought about Thailand, and I was always planning to go eventually. But when that happened, that kind of just rushed me into it. So yeah, so that's why I ended up there. I ended up there, and when I was over there, I was just really reconnecting to God. Um, but it was a like, um Like I was in I was in Bangkok for a month. Then I moved out to Jomtien Beach, and that was a nice area. It was like Miami, uh, not like Miami, but it was by the beach, and it reminded me of Collin Drive in Miami. Uh, and I was that's when I was focusing on my writing and creating the content I'm creating now. So that's it, bro. Yeah, appreciate that, y'all. Um, I'm trying to think when I first got out of the hospital, you know, I still didn't realize that I didn't realize that I still need to heal. I thought that I would be up and walking and no problem. I wasn't even aware that I had I had brain. I'm not gonna say brain damage, but I had a I had a skull injury where they had to stop the bleeding in my skull. When I was in the hospital, they they had a they had uh put a tube in my right lung, so I was hooked up to a tube. They had a some tube that went down my throat to I don't know what that tube was for. I guess it was eating or whatever. But they were actually gonna go ahead and do a surgery on my neck to they were talking about doing something to make it easier for me to breathe. But I was thankful that my family uh was checking on, and my family told them not to do that. Yeah, it was rough. But thankfully the my girlfriend at the time was able to get in contact with my family, and I was thankful for that because if 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 she never got in contact with them, I don't know if I would be even be here. I I would be just I'll be in a terrible situation, and nobody would know because how would they? Then even if they were worried about me and they came and saw me, where would they start looking? That's why he's there. You know, I'm still here because God wanted me to be here. That's all I can say. Because it was so many elements. Even when I crashed, like I was laid out on the road for a while before the ambulance came and got me or anything. And you know, I'm a foreigner in a foreign country, so the the other party that was involved in the accident, mind you, they were okay. Um, they went to the hospital, I think, and got checked out, but they were able to go home like pretty much the next day. And I didn't, I didn't. The accident was at the end of May, and I didn't get out the hospital till the middle of July. Yeah, just that day was probably the May, and that's when it happened. Um, yeah, I noticed when I first was able to get back online and do a stream, uh, I had got demonetized and everything. I don't know what was going on with that, but I ended up getting demonetized, and I didn't get remonetized until October. So, man, so I was like demonetized for like 3 months. Yeah, and even with I was having a lot of a lot of speech problems. That's why I didn't. That's really why I didn't want to go live. I was having a lot of issues with my speech, and I still do now. It's just not as bad, and it's getting better as I'm healing. But yeah, it was that bad. I don't know. Let me see. I think my speaker wasn't there. So, so hopefully my speaker. Yeah, there we go. But what else? Yeah, the whole recovery process. So every day I'll pretty much I wouldn't lay in bed, but I wouldn't really go anywhere. I couldn't really I really couldn't move that much, honestly. I had to force myself to like physical therapy. I had to force myself like back moving around and a whole bunch of stuff like that. Um like I just appreciate everybody for being here and y'all being supportive of me. I had a whole bunch of people from who've been uh with me from like the beginning of this when I first started uh when I first was making content. Um that's how I know if somebody is new or not because they say, "Oh, what you doing? You stealing content." I what are y'all talking about? Because I'm watching the video with y'all, and for them to not know that, and I'll send them the playlist. I have a playlist of audits of a playlist of audits that I did, or when I was going out and creating the content myself. That was never a difficult thing for me. Auditing or going out and exercising my rights wasn't my wasn't what I used for stream of income at all. Like so when I would create content, that would be like on an off day for me. So it always tripped me out when people act like or when people would say things like that. It would just really trip me out. And I knew that they obviously uh didn't didn't know what I was about and they didn't support what I was doing anyway. Morning, morning. How long? Yeah, but people are making it seem like all I all I did on my channel was go out and or all I did on my channel was watch other videos. That's that makes no sense. And if you are a follower of my channel, you know I didn't start my channel by just watching other content. That's not what I did. I actually went out and that gathered my own content. I'll go out to all these places. Go to City Hall, the DMV. I'll go to courthouses. I'll go to all these places and exercise my rights. And y'all see it. Sometimes it went well, but sometimes it didn't. Um, like now, I wish I could do that now, but being that I'm battling with so many different things right now, I don't think it would be in my best interest to go out and try to do that right now because you never know how it could turn out. I love the Thailand tours. Yeah, like I would go live while I was over there. I I didn't just go to Thailand. I went to Laos and I went to Cambodia. Uh, I would recommend going to Laos. I wouldn't recommend. I can't really recommend Cambodia because the city that I flew into Cambodia, I didn't like it at all. Um, it wasn't much scenery. It um like it was nothing. Uh, not nothing. I'm not going. Let me not say that. But it didn't really. Cambodia didn't really have a lot of trees. Didn't have any mountains that I could see. It didn't have. All they had was a river, and the river didn't look uh like it wasn't a river where people going out and going swimming in. Uh, I could say the people there were it was okay, but I didn't really get a good experience in Cambodia. It might have just been the city I was in. Um, but in Laos, um, I flew into the main city in Laos, and it was phenomenal. Uh, from the way they would treat me at the airport, uh, all the way until like even where I stayed at, it was nice. Um, that's when I did a lot of I did a lot of live streams in Laos. Um, and that was like around like January time. But all I can say for sure that it was like around the beginning of last year is when I was in Laos. Uh, but the rest of that time I was in Thailand. Uh, and if I didn't go live on YouTube, I was going live like I was writing every day, and I would go live. I would do like a live stream of me writing, and I would do that on like Facebook and stuff. But like what can I say? Like right now, uh, as far as my health goes, I'm able to walk around now, but not for that long, and it takes my body a while to adjust to when I go for a walk. Like my first few steps are like stiff and it's hard to move around. Then I start loosening up as I walk more. Uh, even when I was sleeping, I wasn't really able to sleep well. Uh, Even though I had to sleep a lot, like I would get up and go do stuff, and then I didn't realize how much energy that was taken out of me, and I just had to go back and like just rest and go to sleep. Um, yeah, but I didn't have any broken bones, so that's a good thing. No broken bones. Um, I really didn't get all the X-rays that they took of me, so I don't I don't really know exactly what they saw, and when I got X-rayed at the hospital and stuff. So now that I got back here, I'm trying to go about that process now, but it's it's been more of a headache than anything. Uh, but what I can say is God is good. God is great. Uh, if you haven't already, build a relationship with God. Um, that's the only thing. That's the only way that I was able to overcome what what I've been going through and dealing with it. Is it's not just I'm this super strong person. Um, it's just God has God has had his. I just been able to be aware of God even when I wasn't. You know, how can I say this? It's just you. I just learned to get closer to God and build a better relationship with God. Because like I have a video, like I don't think I'm gonna put that on YouTube, but I have a video of me, like videos of me in the hospital. Um, like you can see I'm all wired up and they got tubes all on me. My like I'm just laying on bed, like I don't have conscious, like my eyes are slightly open, but it's like my eyes are rolled back to the back of my head. Um, he said, yeah, he's still with us a lot of time, but now how they value lives. Um, you know, Thailand is different. Like that's why I'm saying it's very different, and you got to know it was difficult. Like even in the hospital, you might run into a few people who really care about your well being, and want to see you do better. Then you have some people who don't really. It seems like they don't really care. Um, it, that hospital experience was a rough experience. Even in the hospital, like I was in uh, at first they had me in like I don't know what you want to call that area, but it's like an area where they have like a whole bunch of sick people, and it wasn't until my family came later and I got my own separate room, and that's when I started getting better care. But when I first got there, it was, you got to think you're a foreigner, you don't speak the language, and they don't speak your language, so you can't really say nothing to them, and can't really tell them nothing. Uh, like if they were to ask me about prior injuries or things I was dealing with, I couldn't really tell them. Uh, but it's a good thing. Like, but before that accident, I always maintained good health. I ate good. I worked out every day. Um, and I think that's probably part of the reason I made it through it. Because I don't even I don't even want to imagine going through any of that and not being in good health. I think I lost like 20 pounds in there. Um, I'm I'm happy I'm still able to eat, and I was able to eat. I just couldn't eat that much. Um, even when I would start having conversations with people, it I I wasn't I couldn't make the thoughts. I couldn't make the words come out for the thoughts that I was having at the time. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I was having difficulty with that when I first got out the house. Well, when I first came out the coma, and I was trying to talk. Um, but even then, I thought I was okay, but I wasn't. I'm trying to think what else. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I didn't. I don't know if I told y'all, but I was I was on the scooter when I had the accident. So it's not like I was in a car or anything like that. In Thailand, it pretty much almost everybody has a scooter or motorbike, and that's when I had my accident. I was on the motorbike, and when I hit, when I had the accident on the motorbike, I you see when I went down, like I rode so far, like it was crazy how far I moved from where I first had the accident at how much my body just rolled and tumbled. Like my arm, like one of my arms was up in the air, like it was crazy. I think that's why I have some difficulty with this arm right here, on my right arm. But it was really a brutal accident. I didn't realize it until I saw that video of me actually crashing, to where I saw the video of me uh, when I had first got to when I first got to the hospital, and the condition I was in. Uh, my family came and saw me, but it was really only my dad and his wife. Uh, it was just a terrible situation to be in. Like I'm that's why I'm so thankful right now that God is obviously been a great part of my recovery, me being alive today, and seeing me through this process. Um, oh yeah, but let me tell y'all about kind of what I was dealing with at the time. So when I was when I was 25, a week, like maybe a week after my birthday, uh, my oldest sister was murdered. So when that happened, that kind of I didn't go against God, but I kind of turned away from God. I didn't really at that point. I don't think I really had a connection with God like I did, like I do now, or like I for the past few years. Pretty much after that happened, that was kind of it for me. Um, I'm still a good people. Like I, I believed in God. I just was I wasn't I didn't know. I didn't know about God. I wasn't reading my Bible or anything like that. So it was I didn't know how to deal with that situation. Um so after all that, then it wasn't last year, but the year before is when I that's when my mom passed away. And that's what made me reconnect with God. When my mom passed away, I know that she was somebody who believed in God and always wanted me to have that connection and, and be able to, you know, accept God and be receptive of his teaching or the words that God would say to us. Um, for a long time, I just relied on my own ego and thinking I knew everything, even when I didn't. So yeah, so that was my. I wasn't planning on staying in Thailand that long. I stayed in Thailand for over a year, and the only thing, what really made it last a lot longer, was me having that accident. Because I had the accident in May. I probably would have left Thailand probably around my birthday in July. So I would have been there maybe a month. I mean, a year and 6 months maybe. It ended up being longer because I had to sit there and recover. I couldn't just hop. I couldn't just hop on the plane and fly back to the States because the condition I was in. I don't know if anybody has ever taken that flight, but it's pretty much a 24-hour flight, uh, a whole day that you're going to be flying. So I definitely wasn't in a condition to just hop on that flight and to be shipped back to the States. So I took a couple months and I was slowly recovering over there. I was able to start walking again over there. Uh, but even now, I can't really exercise like I usually exercise. I can't really. Uh, I'm not as mobile as as I was, uh, and like even now, like when I sit for too long, It's some. I'm not. It's hard to get up. That's all. That's what I can say. When I sit for too long, it's hard. It's hard to get up. Um, which was never a thing for me. Like the condition I was in after this surgery, I have I haven't been in that condition before. You know, it it was terrible. Even like even when I was younger, I had surgery. I had back surgery when I was younger, and even then, like I was good to go. I wasn't good to go, but I recovered a lot quicker then. But that surgery was when I was like 11 or something like that. And, you know, it's a lot different when you're older. I'm in my 30s now, so you know. So I don't know if y'all can see it, but during when I had that accident, what happened? I ended up hitting my and cracking his tooth, which is crazy to me. I'm like, dang, how I cracked my tooth. But I'm thankful that if this is like one of the bad, least things that happened to me. But and and it cracked, but it didn't crack deep enough for it to be like where I had to have his tooth removed and everything like that. So I'm happy about that. But I'm used to having really nice teeth. So I want to share this video. This while I take a break from talking so much. This video is about the police being called on a guy talking about God, and this is like key First Amendment things. Like you're supposed to have the freedom of religion, the freedom of speech, the freedom of press, all of this, and you gotta you gotta think why are so many people against the First Amendment? No matter it seems like no matter what, and the fact that they're against the First Amendment, even when you're talking about God, is even more crazy to me. But let me what channel it is. This is the Nicholas Bolin channel, and this video is titled "Police Called on Street Preacher at Pride Festival."
No, because I'm not breaking this law. This is all private property. Your management from here, and they'd like you guys to get off their private property. There's listen, I'm not going to argue all of that. I'm just telling you, this is private property.
Well, Jesus, he loves everyone.
And he does not make it.
I'm here to love people, bro.
This ain't love.
So there's
This ain't love.
You know what a good minister would do? He would give to the poor, and you don't.
God bless you, bro. Jesus loves you, man.
we went back to
A lot. You say I've noticed that I take a lot longer to heal as I've gotten older. I I'm definitely noticing it now. Like, dang. So I'm hoping that I'll be back, and I'm not gonna say 100%, but I'm gonna be close to 100% in hopefully a few more months, I should say. But it's a tough situation for me, especially coming from somebody who's always been pretty fit, like fit, and I've always been mobile and able to do things that most people weren't doing. Like I was working out every day way before this started, and I think that's what kept me going.
Lexington Pride to preach the gospel
where over 20,000 people gathered to proudly celebrate and spread the LGBTQ lifestyle. Surprisingly, we talked to several of the same people that we met last year. There was a hostile food vendor who tried to shut us down before we even got started.
That's how I feel about family. This foolishness right here is gonna push you away from my business. So you walk up with your business.
Well, that's not my intentions.
He said, cool. That's what you do. So is it cool?
I'm here to love people, bro.
No, that's not
I'm here
love.
to preach the
That's not
news.
love. This ain't love.
So
This ain't love.
Security came and tried to get us to leave several different times. Then we had a dispute with the police and had to move. We got falsely accused on multiple accounts by an angry ex-Christian, and the same guy from last year's Pride event set up his DJ equipment right next to us to try and drown out the gospel. But he who's in us is greater than he who's in the world, so the gospel went forth. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. On the morning of the event,
You know, it's so crazy that the only thing this guy is doing is spreading the word of God, and it's like a lot of people have an issue with that.
the Lord told me to start out with praise and worship. Now, just being honest with you, I didn't want to do it at first, so I wrestled with it a bit and sought the Lord for confirmation. Then the Lord reminded me of when Judah went to war in the Old Testament, and Jehoshaphat appointed people to go out before the army to sing and praise the Lord. Now, Jesus made it clear to us that we don't war against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, rulers of the darkness of this age. So I believe through the praise and worship, God was working against the true enemy so people could be.
Yeah. Say, yeah, I was thankful that I was in pretty good shape. Like if you see pictures of me in the hospital bed, you can see like my whole body had swollen up. So it was looking like it looked real bad. Like everything was swollen, my face was swollen, my body, it was, man, I'm thankful for that as well.
Be saved. As you can see, this food vendor was not happy and even tried to blast music into the microphone with his portable speaker.
It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. I've seen many searching for answers far and wide, but I know we're all searching for answers.
He claimed that he couldn't do business because of us, so Joshua, one of the guys who was with us, tried to make peace with him by kindly offering him money, but when offered, the guy wouldn't accept it and acted hostile towards him. I think we know what was truly behind this guy trying to stop us.
They said, Lord, Lord, have we not done these wonderful things in your name? Have we not cast out demons in your name? Have we not healed the sick in your name? Have we not prophesied in your name? But Jesus said to them, depart from me, you who practice lawlessness. So people who claim to be Christian, even people who are prophesying or casting out demons or healing the sick in Jesus' name, if they're still practicing sin.
How you doing, sir?
Hey, good to see you again.
Yeah, I met you last year.
Last year,
Just let you know. Unfortunately, we do have a 2-block radius now, so this part, I'm going to stick in his face. Around the building, 2 blocks around for everything. We don't enforce it, but if you do go across the street, perfectly fine. So, and that's the law for it.
That's why those gentlemen are over there.
Oh, on that side.
And you have a 2-block, what's that mean?
So whenever we have an event, whenever we have a ticket event around, the sidewalk becomes our property up to 2 blocks around, and there's the ordinance for it. So, like I said, it's 2 blocks around. We don't enforce the 2 blocks, but we just ask to go across the street.
That line is right here where we're standing.
Okay, it's across the street, sir. You got to go across the street.
People in the public who are just walking from down there,
They can walk.
they can't walk across.
They can.
They can't walk across the
We
public
can
sidewalk.
ask them if they're disrupting our event.
This is nuts. Do y'all hear what they saying to him right now? They even showed him the map with it crossed up a line where the property they're supposed to have say so over the property, and they say, okay, it was this line right here that you're talking about. So where he's at is public property, like it would be normally, and they just trying to tell him something different because they want him to move, and they want him to move because he's exercising his First Amendment right.
They need to step across out of our property.
And if you like I said, there's the law for you. We could call the Metro over here, and they're going to explain the same thing.
Sale of goods in Lexington Center.
Go ask those gentlemen too. Metro's already asked them to move too.
I already talked to them.
Yeah, so they got to go too.
I'm not doing that.
Okay. So are you going to move?
No.
Okay.
No, because I'm not breaking this law.
Check your headquarters.
It's city ordinance.
They're going to take the same thing.
It makes it our private property during events, so we can ask them to leave. Because the city ordinance makes it our private property during events.
Yeah, I respect you guys. You're doing your job.
Yeah.
But I've got a job to do for him too, so I'm gonna keep doing that.
Go right ahead. I'll be right with
Hey,
you.
God bless you all.
Thank you, sir.
Hope you have a good day.
You as well.
In between security coming up and trying to get us to leave, I continued to preach about Jesus for quite some time until a guy from last year's Pride event came up with some accusations and seemingly predetermined questions to try and trap me in my words. Even though this guy is really resisting God, I could sense God's desire to draw him to himself. So please be in prayer for this prodigal son to return back to the Father.
Hey, what's up, bro? Remember you from last?
Yeah,
From
you
last
remember
time.
me?
Yeah.
You're a moron. This is the perfect example of a Christian who pulls out of their when they don't know what the they're talking about. I gotta tell you in the camera,
What's up?
you do a great job at editing. I didn't know about you before, so I looked through a lot of your videos, and I noticed there's a very common theme.
Yeah.
And that common theme is hate. No, I'm good. The common theme is hate. And if you go at your top videos, it's always like
Can I ask you what's hateful?
the comments. If you look at all of your top videos, the common thing is people yelling at you.
What's hateful? The comments. The comments, bruh, get out of here, man. You're a grown man. I can't believe you even said that. I hope you know he on camera right now saying crazy stuff like that. Like, could you imagine dealing with a guy like that, where the answer to the question, what's the problem here? The comments. Get out of here, man.
Giving you the middle finger, screaming at you, showing them in their angriest state, right?
No,
No, you're
not
not.
at all the videos.
I mean, I can pull them up and show
In some
you.
of them,
Let's say your top five videos on YouTube.
I don't know,
Okay.
but yeah.
Okay, so the ones that get like millions and millions of views are the ones that have people screaming at you, and then you go to the comments section. Have you ever read the comments?
Some of them.
What do you think about it?
What do you think about the comments? I can't believe this is a serious question coming from a guy who looks like this, man. Come on. He needs to have a talk with God himself, because I don't know what is his problem right now.
About the comments.
Yeah, like your supporters.
I can't like generally say about all the comments, but if you pointed some of the comments out, I'd probably tell you.
Some of them that have stuck out to me are specifically, they say things like, there should be a school here. There should be.
Who would say that? That's like me if somebody was commenting on my post, comment like saying something bad about cops. Most of the time, I probably wouldn't say nothing back to that, because that's freedom of speech.
be someone with a flamethrower, all inciting violence. I can pull them up. Inciting violence in your name, in your support.
I don't acknowledge
So
that.
why
I would
doesn't
never implement something like that. I don't think
why doesn't
that
your
way.
social media team ban these?
Why doesn't your social media team ban these people? Social media team, get out of here, bro. I'm just uploading videos. Get out of here, man. He is nuts. This man is absolutely insane.
Comments. Why don't they ban these followers who incite violence? Okay, if I can see them, and it takes very little effort to click their name and then block them from your page, why haven't you come out with a video denouncing this type of behavior? Well, maybe you should. Maybe the next video you come out with should be like, hey, to all of my followers,
I can't control
the comments come from the content that you create. You continue to create this content. Well, here, let's talk about our video. Our video was you and I arguing. What message of salvation or what message of trying to get people to come to the Christian faith? How does our video translate to that?
Sorry to interrupt, but we need to.
Well, it's helping now because anybody who acts like this guy, they need God. I mean, because obviously that's how they help. Seeing people like him make me want to have a better relationship with God. So I'm nothing like this guy. That would make me not want to be nothing like him.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? So this is all private property. Their management from here, and they'd like you guys to get off their private property. I will tell you, the private property line, it is the curb. But see that, just the gray brick triangle, basically? Yeah. That is off their property. So all of that is private property.
But this is usually public property, right?
No. He's got the PBA pulled up right now.
It's not private property.
There's
Listen, I'm not going to argue all of that. I'm just telling you, this is private property.
With every place, there's a public pathway that goes in front of buildings.
I hate when cops act like anytime that you are opposing what they're saying, they consider an argument, or they be like, "Oh, I'm not going to argue with you." What are you talking about? All you're doing is having a normal conversation with me. But they feel like they're not going to win that conversation, or they're not going to get the best of you in that conversation. So they say, "Oh, I don't want to argue with you." What do you mean? You don't want to be proven wrong about your weird thoughts that you have right now.
There always is. So this isn't a walkway. So that would mean there would have to be some kind of public walkway that is perfectly legal for us to be on.
Yes, there is. You know, right? That triangle right there. You can stand in that triangle. You can accomplish everything you want.
How do people get past from there to down there?
Well, they're free to walk. It is open for that.
Where do they walk though?
What's that?
Where do they walk from here to get down there?
They walk. Are you walking?
Well, yeah.
No, you're standing on.
I said where
you
they
are
walk.
standing on private property. You're
how
not
they get there.
using it as the public thoroughfare. You're not.
Could you tell me where the public is? Where the public sidewalk is? Right here. Well, I've got this. And the line goes right through here, right? But there would have to be a public walkway. There has to be a public walkway to get along the side of the street to continue down through there. So I'm just asking, where is the public? Where's the public part?
I don't know, but this is private property, and
There has to be a public. There has to be public, and I can't walk over there.
You're right. So see this? This is where you can stand. Literally, you can stand there. Now you're not on the private property. There you go. You're not using it as.
Last year they told me that white line on that side was their property, and on this side was the public property.
You're on private property right now, so.
Once you get over there, you'll be
Cross that
good.
white line, you'll be done.
You'll be
Cross that
good.
white line, you'll be done.
You'll be
Cross that
good.
white line, you'll be done.
You have a smartphone.
Yeah.
Fayette PVA. That's the website.
Okay.
Look up this address. Look where the property line is. That's the answer. If they told you that last year, I can't tell you what it was.
Legally, they would be
Who's
doing
they?
something wrong.
Who's they?
Who's they? Well, if all of this is private property and there's no public pathway to get alongside the street, then it would be illegal. It would be illegal. What is illegal? That there's no public pathway to get past.
You will have to take that up with code enforcement. You may be right, but you have to take that up with code enforcement. And code enforcement,
There's got to be public.
yeah, okay.
There can be a portion that's owned by the business, but there's also has to be a portion that is the city-owned part of it that's public property
Really?
in order for people to walk down the street.
I don't know where that is. I was never taught that. Can you show me that so I can get smarter on it?
I can try to look it up. Yeah.
Okay.
So you know, maybe he knows what I'm talking about.
On any normal occasion, yes. This is a ticketed event at the convention center in Rough Arena. So a few hours prior to and after the ticketed event begins and ends, this is a section of their property. So what they say goes out here. Okay?
So
we don't have any control of it.
Okay. So they rent part of the public.
Yes. As there are events going on, their ownership essentially extends out to this. Okay? So unfortunately, they make the decisions. We have to relay that to
Wouldn't that mean the public can still travel through the event?
To get from one side to the other?
Absolutely.
Even if they rented it. But when she handed me this,
You're not traveling from one side to the other. So that's the difference.
when she handed me this, it specifically says sale of goods. Like this.
Okay,
This
that's
little
fine.
yellow enforcement.
Right, this is not.
This yellow.
What Sergeant Silver showed you on his cell phone is the
He didn't
PBA
show me.
website. He showed you a photograph. I saw it. It's a PBA image, and that image goes all the way out to this curve. Okay. So unfortunately, that we dealt with this group earlier, and they agreed to walk. You guys have the equipment to be heard from over there.
I'm not trying to call you guys issues.
Let me explain to you, okay? What's the difference between standing here and standing 45 feet away? They can
Over
still
there,
clearly hear you.
it's our body language or something, and it says we're over here and you're over there.
Well,
Us and you,
unfortunately,
and that,
right, but
that's not what I'm here
their
for.
properties extend out to here. So if they want to come speak to you, they can walk across the street and talk to you about some issues, okay? But right now, Rough Arena staff said that you had to be beyond this line, this threshold, and this line, and that's kind of how it goes.
You know, I just want to look at this.
Yeah, we'll show you.
As you can see, I disputed with the managers and police officers some because I truly believe what happened here was unlawful. In Acts chapter 22, we even see the Apostle Paul using the governmental law to his advantage for the kingdom's sake. But this doesn't take away from the fact that we should have great respect for people in authority like police officers. In Romans 13, it says the authorities are God's ministers to us for good, and that they're an avenger to execute wrath on people who practice evil. So they help keep order and peace in the earth. If you notice, one of the police officers was actually helping us out. The managers of the event center wanted to make us go across the street, but the police officer pointed out a small portion of the sidewalk that wasn't included on the PVA map, which allowed us to stay in the same area by just moving over about 15 feet.
Thank you, guys. Have a blessed day. Any way I can pray for you? Hey, is there any way I can pray for you?
You can pray all you want to.
Anything specific? You got like pain in your body? I can pray right here.
Okay, you're good. I got to go back in here and address it. But
Have a blessed day, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So back to our video. What message were you trying to send with that?
What message? I just pulled a Bible verse here. It says, if you're reproached for the name of Christ, blessed are you, for the spirit of glory and of God rests upon you. On their part, he's blasphemed, but on your part, he's glorified. So even in reproach, even when people are screaming at me, even when people are getting mad at me, or anything's happening while I'm preaching the gospel, it says if I'm reproached, that's what reproach means. It says, blessed are you, and then it says the spirit of glory and of God rests upon you, and then it says on your part, God's glorified. So even in that video, God is being glorified.
So what does the
So
Bible
that's
say
part of the
about
purpose.
what does the Bible say about bearing false witness?
Bearing false witness?
Yeah, lying.
Who's bearing false witness? Yes.
You are. You said your I don't know where your equipment is, but you said it was damaged, right? Because you
This
unplugged
is a
your
different
battery.
mic.
Well,
It literally was damaged that
your
day.
mic was wireless,
Yeah. No.
and he unplugged the battery, right?
Yeah. So he messed up
So how did
the receiver. The receiver's broke. When I tried to use the mic the next time, it was cutting in and out like crazy.
So I had to start using the wired mic until.
That's weird that it stopped working after you took it home, after you maybe unplugged it another time.
No.
Because it was working when, hi.
Hi, how are you? When did I say that? I didn't say that.
Someone did.
Those guys are a little bit more cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Oh,
yeah.
They told me I'm
Yeah. They're a little more radical.
not even gay. I just support the rights, but I'm doing it. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Not my God, not my Jesus. My Jesus is accepting.
Yeah.
Jesus is accepting.
Accepting of what?
Everybody.
Everybody. Yeah. Well, Jesus,
Everybody.
He loves everyone.
And he does not make judgment.
Well, He is
And
the judge of the living and the dead. He will judge each and every person. But here's the thing: the gospel. You've heard about the gospel. The cross represents the gospel.
I'm not everyone.
Yeah.
Because I just
So the gospel
your
is for
people
everyone.
told me I was going to hell. They lost all validity. I'm sorry.
Where were we? Do you think they should have gone to jail for that?
But I think no, I wouldn't prosecute him.
I mean, as someone who's gone to jail,
Yeah.
is that where you'd want your enemies?
No.
In jail?
No.
No.
Bible says, love your enemies. Pray for those who reproach you, bless those who curse you. Do good to those who hate you.
You know what also God says about street preaching?
What?
You should know. You're a preacher.
Well, He's told us to go out and preach.
What does He say?
Go out and preach the gospel.
What does
to all
He say?
creation.
What does He say in the book of Matthew?
About what?
Matthew 6:5. Do you know the verse?
Not off the top of my head now.
You want me to pull it up for you? Sure. All right. You want to read it for the camera? Right here.
Matthew 6:5. What version is it?
Right here. New NIV.
When you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray, standing in synagogues and on street corners, to be seen by men. Is that it?
No, there's more.
The verse continues, but when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will repay you.
So what do you say?
So basically, that's saying when you pray, you don't have to pray in front of everybody. You can pray to yourself, or pray to God quietly. You don't have to make a scene to do it. But this guy isn't saying prayers to people. He's just telling people what the Bible says.
Say those direct words from Jesus.
When Jesus teaches,
Because you're going against.
Jesus
You're
teaches
going
how to pray.
directly against
Pray.
His teaching.
No, he said pray.
No.
You said first. You said
You're
what does the Bible
coming
say about
out
street
here and
preaching?
you're preaching and you're praising and you're praying. Correct?
Am I praying? I'm
You
praying.
prayed in your other videos.
Yeah. I'm praying for people at times.
Right, and God says don't do that.
And I'm praying. No.
He says do it in the secret.
No, look in the context. He doesn't say just pray. Jesus prayed for many
Like the
people.
hypocrites.
Jesus prayed for many people openly in the Bible. And Jesus wasn't a hypocrite. So Jesus, he openly prayed for his disciples. Right? And he said, Father, I pray that you would take them out of the world, but that was not of the world. But I pray that you keep them from the evil. And so he prayed openly to many of them. Right?
See, I see the message that he was trying to send is probably the Pharisees during that time,
Exactly.
openly out in the streets, praying God, trying to show that they are holier than thou, that they are better than the people who aren't doing that.
You could say that. I would agree.
Okay, he's not doing that.
You
I'm
don't
preaching
see.
the gospel. I'm not out here saying, "Oh, Father in heaven." I
It doesn't.
pray
You don't
that
have
do
to say
this."
that.
And I'm not coming out here with the motive of the religious hypocrites to just pray so you guys see how good I can pray. That would be in violation of that verse.
If you
But
really,
I'm coming out here to preach the good news in the gospel, like Jesus said.
God is
And
telling
maybe
you when you.
administering.
But God is telling you in this exact verse to go to your home
When you
and
pray.
pray in your room in secret. So when you want to pray
Right.
for these people's salvation,
Yeah.
you don't do it on the street corner. You do it in your room.
It
God,
depends on the
you think God
context.
won't see you if
It
you're
depends
praying?
on the
You think
context.
God won't see
If
you
I'm
if
praying
you're
with
praying
the
in
right
your room?
heart, if I'm praying with the right heart, like right after I get done preaching, and I'm praying for people with the right heart, even if I'm praying, God, open their hearts, let them receive salvation. Even if I'm praying that, my motive is not, oh, I'm seeking honor from men. Ooh, I'm seeking for you to do what the hypocrites were doing, which was look at me, right? But if I'm doing that, my motive is preaching the gospel. My motive is God, open our hearts to respond. So it's out of context from that verse.
It also says don't raise your voice and don't shout. But here you are amplifying and raising your voice with the speaker.
No, he said shout it from the rooftops.
No, he said
He
don't
said
yell
what you
and
hear
don't
in the
shout.
secret, shout it from the rooftops. He told them to go out. Jesus even proclaimed, and
This guy is absolutely nuts. He just wants an argument for nothing. Look at him. Like you can, I don't know if you, but I can already see. Like, look at him. Like,
he preached loudly to thousands of people on a mountainside. So it's, you got to read things that are in context, and then look at even the life of Jesus and say, okay, what is this verse? What's it saying? And then Jesus never contradicts himself. So Jesus is preaching and proclaiming loudly, which is exactly what he sent his disciples out to do.
I think this is my understanding, I think that he would not approve of what you do. He would tell you, if he was here today, to go back home to Bowling Green, to do this amongst your people, to get them together as a congregation and pray for people who are sinning, not to come out here.
Don't go by his understanding, because he's absolutely nuts. And it's obvious. Like, this guy is absolutely out of his mind. He needs God.
On the street corner, like it literally says exactly in the Bible, and do what you're doing.
Did Jesus only do what you just said?
Jesus' teachings towards man don't also apply to himself. If he wants to teach in front of thousands, he can. But if he's telling you,
that makes absolutely no sense. He said whatever Jesus was teaching doesn't apply to him. When that's the only person who went without sin. This guy's absolutely insane.
to not go to the street corner and to pray in secret. Then why do you go against his word?
I'm not here for that motive.
Yeah, you
I'm not
are.
here doing that.
If you were, buddy, you have two
preaching the
cameras.
gospel.
You have two cameras, and you're not here to be seen.
Into God's kingdom.
No, it's going into Nicholas Bowling Ministries. It's going into your checking account. Hey,
God bless you, bro. Jesus loves you, man. Jesus loves you, man.
So
why do you? Why do you
no. Back to the profit thing.
Why? Why do you say that?
Hey, back to you putting money in your pocket instead of.
You should have some logic to back up.
Okay. All right. So since you don't want to talk anymore, I think I've made my point.
It's going nowhere, man.
Yeah, because you're never going to donate
You're
to
making
people here.
False accusations. You don't know that I'm not going to do
You know what a good minister would do? He would give to the poor. You don't.
You should become a good minister.
What?
I'm good. I was a Christian for 15 years, and I learned that that's not the way for me. But you don't have to be a good Christian to give back to the people who need money, who need a helping hand upwards. Instead of keeping people down, lift them up. You don't. Maybe you should go home and reflect on yourself. Have a good day.
God bless you, man. God loves you. You should come back to him, man. You're like a prodigal son. He'll welcome you back if you come back.
What is it? When you love, we shut your
You don't ask him if it's discrimination.
That's not discrimination, sir. He's part of the event.
He's part of the event.
He's going to be with the part of the event. Yes, sir. He's welcome there. So
why is he welcome but we're not welcome?
Because you're protesting and everything. We asked you to move, and we took care of it, and we gave you your little spot, so you're good to go.
I'm not protesting. I'm not here to protest. I'm just here to bring a message.
But you wasn't welcome here, and we asked you, and then they gave you your little spot, so you're good to go in your place.
I'm asking why am I not welcome?
We just don't want you up there with making the noise and disrupting everybody else. That's fine, sir. That's fine. So you can step back over there.
See, this is discrimination. You just said the reason that we told us to move was because we're making noise,
For people who come in and argue with you, just like they did last year, you guys both have your sides.
I don't like message. Yeah. But I'm not here to protest. I'm just saying, making us move and then
the lieutenant's already asked you if you're good to go on that corner. So you guys are perfectly fine right there, sir. Thanks for you as well, sir.
If the Lord leads you to financially partner with us, you can do that through Ko-fi.com/Nicholas Bowling. Also, if you'd like to spread the gospel on some apparel like this, you can find them at nicholasbowling.com. So much more happened after what you see here, including a conversation with the DJ guy who's been blasting music at us for the last 2 years now. In part 2, you'll see that and so much more it got pretty wild. If you enjoyed this video,
All right, y'all. So that's gonna be the end of this stream. Or I see what y'all have to say about what's been going on. Like, I just played that video, but this stream was really about me talking about me recovering from my accident in Thailand. Yeah, it was rough. I'm blessed to still be here. I'm blessed to be able to I'm able to walk around and that I can use my brain and think. When a few months ago I would have never knew I didn't really know where I was going. Yeah, man, it was a rough situation. But I'm back, and I'm trying to make content as often as possible. I really, right now, I can't get out and go to these public buildings like I normally would do, only because I physically can't do it, and I'm not sure. I don't want to take the chance of them not. I can't take the chance of the cops breaking the law. Honestly, that's pretty much it. I can't. I know that cops show up and the main thing they're gonna do is probably break the law, and you have to know that that's a possibility. And I always knew that going out before, but now I'm dealing with a lot of health things that may push this in a direction that I don't want to go. And so yeah, with that being said, AWB, I'm out. I appreciate everybody who checks out these streams and checks out the content, and share the content if you feel like it's something to share. Also, if you want to become a member, that'll help me out a lot. All right.